Well, hello YouTube. Here we are. A little bit of a project video. Well, you remember the deck project we did a year ago? Well, of course, with the project being a little bit of a standstill, I want to do a bit of a change to the backyard. Well, I'm wanting to put in a couple of in-ground planters to plant flowers and such in. Well, right here we have the largest one, which is I'm going to say about 5 by 18. I want to dig all that down, scoop the rocks under the deck, remove the dirt, probably try to go down, a good 8 or so inches. This one over here is going to be about a foot by about 5 feet by 1 foot or so. Again, dug down, and then I'll end up having to frame, the framework like a box. And over here in Scrapwood Corner, I drug these home probably a good 2 years ago. These are rough cut wood from like shipping things. I've drug those home, and they've sat here now and cured and dried. I'm going to use these to frame it up. They are kind of rough cut, kind of dry, rough. They are rough cut and kind of rustic looking, and will kind of fit in with the idea I want for the yard. So pretty much, guys, I'm going to throw you on the old tripod here, start digging. We'll probably end up going into fast forward mode because, well, it's not fun watching me spend 20 minutes digging and around we roll. Okay guys, so here we go. Of course, got the base work all done for the holes. This one over here, of course, being the smaller one, is all done as well. Not 100% perfected in terms of the shape. I'm probably going to end up taking it back a bit further. I'll probably end up taking it back a bit further there, but I got to get down there and cut back some landscaping fabric first. So of course I got to dig into my stash of material here. I have some rough cut, like I said, shipping lumber here. I have no idea what hardwood it's made out of. It's probably not going to last as long as what I would like it to once I put it in the ground. But at the same time, given 2 or 3 years, I'll probably want to rip it all out and redo it anyway. Now I'm running into a little bit of a snag. These short boards that are right there are about 6 inches shorter than the space they're going to go into. So I have to decide if I want to make the planter smaller, or if I want to tear into my stack of longer ones and do it out of them. If I tear into my stack of longer ones, I may not have enough to build the longer planter that I want to build in the future. Well, if I do it with the shorter ones, I can probably center it in the hole, have it, kind of in on this end a bit. It'll give a guy a little bit of a relief for maybe a gate post or something there. Well, I'll set up with the saw. I haven't used this chop saw in a while now. I just didn't feel like dragging out the big saw for, some straight cuts. I'd like to apologize for the wind noise, but we got a few hours before it starts to rain, and I want to try to get as much done when I can. So of course, cut these boards that I have here to the appropriate length. I have no idea what hardwood they're made out of, but they're definitely not structural grade. and they're definitely not the kind of lumber you would make furniture out of. They're really, really nasty, really, really hard, bowed, twisted, essentially firewood. So I framed up the first section. Well, it turned out to be all bowed and twisted and didn't go together the way I want it to. So I've decided to change up the project a little bit. I know you shouldn't use pressure treated wood in the ground, at least touching dirt, but at the same time it's not good for flowers or you know, garden stuff either. So if I use white wood, it's not going to last a long time. However, it will weather over time and give it that old distressed look. And like I said there earlier, give it a couple of years and I will want to change it up anyway. These were just normal standard spruce boards probably 2 or 3 years ago. Some of these have only been outside for about a year, and as you see, they've actually grayed, they weathered, they got that nice look. And I'm thinking that's probably what I'm going to do on this here project. So unfortunately, hoarding up all this lumber is probably not going to be a good thing. I'm going to probably end up loading all of it into the utility trailer and hauling it all away. I know I could save it for the fire pit channel, but at the same time, I don't want it sitting here over winter. So I guess we'll have to make ourselves a trip down to the lumber yard and pick up some actual lumber that, well, we can use. Okay guys, so after the hours of struggling that I did trying to work with warped, twisted, dried, old shipping hardwood, I decided to go on down to the lumber store, pick up some wood. I know the wood that I'm using is not proper outdoor wood, but at the same time, the proper outdoor wood doesn't, around here anyway, doesn't say that it will stand up to direct contact with ground. So I decided to use the white spruce. Right now I got it in the saw here, all marked up, ready to make the cut. I'm probably going to double check my measurements just to make sure. And then we'll start cutting and start framing up. Hopefully it goes a little better than the last attempt, because the last attempt was a, well, epic time-wasting fail. Trying to make something out of garbage quite often turns out to be garbage. Got the first level built. Pretty much it sticks up out of the ground by about 2 to 3 inches. Given the future for this here piece of dirt, it'll be just about the right height once the future plans are put in place. Trying to decide if I want to put a second level on it. If I make it twice as deep, you may not be able to plant flowers in there that come back every year because the soil will be too deep. And you know, having it raised would be higher, would be nice, but at the same time, you know, it's more material, and if it does hinder the growth of the flowers, then it's not much of any value. But pretty much I got to move her just a little bit out away from the deck, and probably a little bit this way, and then it'll all come together. Basically the long and short of it is about that's her. It's not going to be trimmed out really fancy. It's not going to have, you know, router edges or anything. Basically, well, what you see is what it is. It does stick out about 1 inch or so this side of the steps, which you know, is kind of a good thing, because it's going to be a little bit of an indent into those steps anyway for the future plans of this area. I have to throw measurements on this here hole. I think it's slightly larger than what I need it to be, but Again, I just take a piece of, just take a knife, cut back that landscaping fabric, and peel away a bit more, and it'll all be good. So of course, got the next round of, well, 2x6s into the saw. Just about to confirm the measurements and make our cuts. Okay, so now that everything's marked out, ready for the cut, pretty much, let's give her one. Set the short pieces aside because we'll need them for our end pieces. And well, these are our main boards. So we'll throw some more measurements, come on back, and give her another cut. Okay guys, so now we'll cut the short little pieces here. They're the ones that connect the two large pieces together. Well, they're forecasting rain to start any minute now, so I'm going to get as much done as I can before, well, it sets on in. Okay guys, so there we go. I got, well, the first one in place. And move on over here to the second one. It's in place. By the time you get the dirt back in there, it'll darn near be ground level until such time as the plan comes through for in here. If you look at the lay of the land, it's a bit low here, and it does a rise kind of coming through here to the back. So this one here will be almost completely covered in the ground, where this one here will stick up by just a little bit. I almost could do a stepped two-tier type of one there. I still might end up doing that, but for right now I'm going to get my rake and pull the dirt and such back from underneath the deck, so when I put the dirt in around it, it doesn't slide on back. Take my spade and, well, dig through this pile of everything here, pick out the sod clumps, stuff that I can't use, and well, whatever I can use, I'll use in the landscaping around it. I do have this dirt here from the barrels out front. That was good dirt that I can fill those up with, as well as I do have some potting soil and such that I can throw in for mix as well. Of course, I'm going to get going, going to get rolling here. I'd like to get some of this done before the rain sets on in. And, well, away we go. Well, there we go. Got both boxes full of dirt. Give everything a little bit of a rinse down. It'll help the settling process. You know, I'm probably going to have to go around and rake this area up a bit. It'll settle a little bit, and I have to go back and fill her again. Same with this one over here. I'll have to go around and, well, you know, fill it all back in again once everything settles. So of course, once it all soaks in, everything dries up just a little bit, we will plant the flowers in them that will be growing in her. Now, I'm not going to go and buy department store flowers that die every year. I am wanting something that comes back every year, and preferably bulb form, obviously. Something that you don't have to replant, fuss with, that will pretty much grow anywhere. In the front yard here, I've got some irises planted. These here were given to me from somebody else who the irises were overgrowing their flower garden. I took them home and planted them. And when I brought them home, there was only 6 of them. And as you can tell now, there's like 16 of them. So I might end up digging a few of these up and transplanting them back there. just to save, well, money, budget, this time around. Or maybe in the future we will have another area to put these kind of flowers. So of course, let's let this all dry out, and then we're good to go. Okay guys, so there we go. Of course, got well, the dirt in the box, got the flowers all planted. No, they have not grown that much in the last, well, day or so. I was able to get a hold of somebody who was thinning out their garden, and well, these here came, well, for free. They do look a little yellow, a little bit dry. Maybe some of them will grow. They do come from bulbs, and they should come back every year. Now, they may not flower this year because of the shock of being transplanted, but at the same time, next season, I'm hoping they'll all come back and it'll all be, well, good to go. So pretty much I got 5 in this one. There's 4 plants. This one here technically is split, and then there's one that is growing a couple of shoots through there. And straight back there was actually a bulb that was left over that I planted just to see if it would grow. Over here, of course, has 3 plants. They're kind of looking a little bit dry, a little bit sad, but at the same time, it is worth the chance that they will grow. If they do die before the fall, you maybe want to look into buying new bulbs for next year. But hey, it's worth the chance when the price is right. If you don't take that chance, then, well, you'll never know, right? But pretty much, guys, adding a little bit of color to the backyard. Trying to get some greenery back here, something a little more than, well, wood and concrete. A little bit of, well, planning, a little bit of executing. Round and round it goes. Hopefully it all turns out. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's World. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.